Welcome to Easy Talk, where we explore dating that's fun
focused,
and
and
much
much
less
less
complicated.
complicated. I'm your girl, Zakia.
And I'm Eve.
I am not a therapist, a life coach, or a pastor. I'm just a hopeless romantic who's done lots of dating, hoping to find the one.
And I've been to therapy. I do some coaching and mentoring. My parents are pastors, so that makes me a PK. And I'm here to learn and share as I journey through where I'm at right now, which is going from single to being in a committed relationship.
Awesome. So, what are we talking about today? Today, we're doing what the fuck is the point?
Why do we even put ourselves through this?
I mean, like all the frustrations, the disappointments, the highs, the lows. Why? What is the point? Why do we go through all this dating, right?
Why do we do that?
Phones ringing in the background.
I mean, this is real life. This is real life. This is our life. We're here to share what's really going on with us. And I think that, if we or our listeners and people that tune in to us on, our podcast, the respect to know that, we don't know. Like she said, we're not like, we're really actually going through dating.
This is not a how-to show.
No. So don't take your pad out and take notes. This is not that. This is like, you get to laugh at us as we navigate.
So get your drink. See, I got mine.
Yes, cheers.
And just enjoy. Okay, just enjoy. So why dating? What is the point of dating? Some people do it because, like me, they want to get married. It's just the stepping stone to finding the one. On the other hand, you have some people who date just for the fun of it, who just like to meet people and go out and hang out. Then you have people whose agenda is more to just find people to smash, aka have sex.
That's what you got.
Right. Then on a deeper level, you have people who date because they simply want to feel wanted by someone. I mean, good or bad, that's simply what they want. No real end game, just want to feel wanted. And then the practical spectrum, you have people who go out on dates because they just want to eat. Can't be mad at them though.
I know people like that. Like, go get that meal, girl.
Right. I actually have a friend who was like, I mean, you eat for free, so just go. You never know. Yeah.
I don't think we're like that, but we know people like that. I mean, it's part of it. It's part of it. I mean, economics is part of dating. I mean, it's kind of like part of survival.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking about this earlier, and we like how just like we don't understand why we're like this. Like we're just kind of like wired this way. And I, was reading the article this week, in preparation for the show. And there are psychologists out there. This guy named Glenn Ganner, he's like a PhD guy, so that's like we can respect.
He is a therapist.
He spent some time researching this thing, and he talks about how it's like evolutionary. Like the reason why we date is to mate, and part of making that easier, we've developed like these chemical things that happen to us. Like there's like dopamine involved. Oxytocin that gets released when you have orgasms that makes you like trust your partner and want to like co-parent with them so that we can procreate and like keep the human race going. So that's part of it. But then there's like this whole like emotional thing that happens to people that nobody tells you about.
Because I'm giving Dr. Ganner the side eye like, okay, that's all great evolution and chemistry and Oxycontin and all that good stuff. But I'm a romantic. I like the flowers, the clouds, the rainbows. Like, that's what I want. Like, that's dating for me. I mean, because our chemicals, you're going to procreate.
Yeah, and nobody, so that's what we're here to do is just like have a dialogue and talk about it.
Okay.
So what the fuck?
So you like that article? Can you relate to that article based on your experience?
I'm a human. I didn't choose to be this way. Okay, so we're all here having to deal with dating. And for me, like, to be honest, like, I'm at a point where I've been single for like 8 years or so. So, and happily single. Like, it hasn't been bad. Like, I'm happy with my choice. Like, I deliberately chose to be single. And I can say that most of the guys that I've dated. I would write letters of recommendation.
So during that whole 8 years, you were dating, or no? Because I remember you took a break from dating at one point. She had like,
well, yeah, I did date Jesus for you.
Okay.
I mean, because I just wanted to make sure I had self-control and that I was focused and I was going into relationships like with a clear mind and not using it like as a drug. It had gotten kind of like that too.
Do you know that there's really an addicts organization for sex and love?
Yeah.
It's called SLAW, if any of you need it. There is an organization sort of like alcohol.
So we got
Anonymous.
Resources too.
It's dope though. It's dope.
Yeah, but it's just like, I went through all that, and then now I'm at a point where, I was taking this sex and intimacy course. There's this organization named Landmark. It's another tool you can use where they just have you like explore like what's going on with you as it relates to sex and intimacy. And one of the conversations was like, what has happened in your life that you've been creating a story around, which has you be where you are, acting the way you act, when it relates to relationships. I mean, I was choosing people that I knew wouldn't like necessarily lead anywhere.
This is during your 8 years
during
of
my
single.
8 years of being single, because I deliberately chose to be single.
So you were a fun girl.
Well, my parents, okay, she wants to call me a fun girl.
I'm just saying, if you're not dating for the long haul, you're a fun girl.
I mean, no, but
that's not fair.
I'm a person too. I have feelings. I want companionship, and I want to go out on dates and have fun and like have experience with other people. But I did have a lot of fun doing it, and it was kind of like a series of like 6-month relationships because I would either sabotage it or choose that the person wasn't a good fit.
6 months apiece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, and so it's just like, but now, in my course that I was talking about, we kind of like talked about it. And what I had a breakthrough in is that I was kind of just like not ready, but then I always also had this one thing that just like wouldn't allow me to like totally be intimate, like really go to the point where I could really commit to people. And I was like,
what do you mean by intimate? We're not talking about like physically intimate.
Not physically intimate, but like really like totally trusting somebody and really just like
being vulnerable,
having
yourself,
having vulnerability and like linking my wagon to yours, like for real. You know what I mean? Like we in this together. Like there have been great guys that I could have done that with, but I hadn't done it because I just had this blockage and I couldn't see what it was. So while we were having the conversation, what it turned out being is that like when I was younger, I made some bad choices. Like I ended up getting pregnant and having an abortion at 17. And I kind of just like decided that I wasn't the marrying type then because I didn't deserve it, because,
That's interesting. Oh, wow. So you're saying your fun girl, I'll use the term loosely. The fun girl time really was you covering up for that inner guilt.
Yeah, I just had this like,
wow.
I gave myself this life sentence of like, you're just not the type of woman that marries or has children because you killed your unborn child. So and I'm sorry to be all deep or whatever, but I feel like we deserve it to you guys to like share like where we're coming from. Yeah, this is where I'm at right now. Like I'm realizing that that's not necessarily true. I just wasn't ready. That was my young mind that had that conversation and made that choice, and I was just like living under that.
So would you say that women who are doing the fun girl dating are pretty much in the same boat most of the time?
I think they're either working it out, like feeling like damaged goods, and like just like not necessarily knowing why or what's keeping them from like just freely loving and being like a stand-up woman or whatever.
Interesting.
Or they just know there's a lot of hard work. I mean, my parents have been married 40 years. So I also know that marriage is a big deal. It's a commitment.
So you're ready for it now?
I'm ready for it now.
Okay. And how has your dating changed since your purpose has changed?
Well, that's what I'm here for, is to work it out.
To figure it out?
In public.
I like that though.
Because there's so many books and like
right
things, but
what kills
nobody
me
really
is
talks about it.
people think that you can jump from being the playboy or the fun girl right into, okay, I'm ready now, I'm going to be an amazing, awesome girlfriend or boyfriend.
No,
it's just like,
I have a really bad
no. So like, and I learned this from experience. Like when that playboy who's been playing all this time now says, okay, I'm ready, I'm changed. Are you though?
Yeah.
Maybe your mind has changed, but you still don't have a clue on how to be a boyfriend. You have no idea.
Right.
So absolutely, I love that you said that.
I'm working on it, and that's what I'm here to do. What about you now?
Well, my story's a little bit different. Actually, with a lot of similarities. So here's what I say is different. I've always been the marriage girl. I've always wanted to get married. It's just kind of ingrained in me kind of thing. I thought that I would be graduating college rocking, a 5-carat ring on my left hand. That didn't happen. But all through my early 20s, I wanted the marriage. I was dating for marriage, but I was still just having fun. To be honest, I wasn't focused. I wouldn't say I was a fun girl because I still wanted marriage, but I definitely wasn't focused. I wasn't focused on what makes a woman a wife. I wasn't focused on what makes a man suitable for a husband. I just thought that I could fund my way into love and a marriage. And
haphazard.
Completely ridiculous. When I think back on where my mind was when I was like 22, I'm like, thank you, God, that I'm not married because I'd already be divorced. Right. Clearly, I'd already be divorced. So I say around 27, 28, that's when I'm about to hit 30, and I'm starting to panic, like, oh my God, I'm not married. What's going on in the world? And that's when you start getting your mom and your grandmom and your auntie saying things like, well, when you gonna get married? When you gonna give us some grandkids? And that starts to get really annoying. So I'm in that phase.
We all heard that at the family reunion.
Right?
It's family reunion season. So people gonna be coming up to you saying inappropriate stuff.
Stop it. And it's not nice. Stop asking every single woman when she's gonna get married.
Is a whole thing too. Like,
it totally is. It totally is. And it's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think being a fun girl is not totally bad because there are certain fun ways of being that I plan to take into my relationship. Mm-hmm. Like I totally had time to figure me out.
Totally.
I know what I like. I know what I
don't
like.
And that's necessary, I think.
Communicate it. And I would have never known that.
But that's funny. And that's what I'm saying. So like when I hit 28 and I started panicking, I went to the complete opposite extreme. Right. Where I'm like, I want to get married. If he's not this, if he's not that, I'm not interested. Right. Still not focused though on me, what makes me a wife. So that year that you did focus on, you and who you were and trying to, I guess, detox from all the back-to-back dating relationships you had, that's kind of where I am right now, where I'm getting into the, okay, I've done a whole bunch of dating, I'm not finding what I want to find, but am I a wife material? I cannot be a nickel out here looking for a dime. I need to be a dime. And that's just what I'm a dime in my mind. But I don't know if I'm a wife now. So
I think we are. We just have to learn how to be it. And that's what we're about to invite you guys to be go on this journey with us to explore that. So if you're a woman in your mid-30s or even just like even younger or older and just trying to figure it out, that's what we're here to do. Just like create a safe space to like just share what's really going on and why we're doing this and like figuring out like what's the purpose, like what is the purpose, because we don't want to end up, you don't want to be the side chick forever.
Seriously, because seriously, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been the side chick definitely unknowingly before, and it's like, oh, but I thought we were like on this path, and he on this other path, and that's where communication comes in. It's like you have to know what you're doing this for, and stick to your guns. If you're not trying to be the side chick, if you're not a fun girl, don't pretend to be a fun girl. Don't.
Oh, tell us about that article about the side chick.
Yes.
That you were telling me about.
Thank you. So there was an article, and I don't know where my phone is, but anyway, I'll wing it, where it talked about the difference from a guy's perspective, the difference between the woman you date and the woman you just hook up with. Mm-hmm. So one of the points I thought it was really funny, he was like, the woman you hook up with has, No, I got it. The woman you're dating is intelligent and funny, whereas your standard is much lower for the woman you hook up with. The woman you hook up with just has to be disease-free and kind of cute. That's what it said.
Now, having been out there like that, I get that. That's
right.
what you want, a disease-free person. That's important.
That's absolutely.
I actually have an organization called the S Word Project, and we try to teach people how to be responsible about sex and relationships. So get tested. Okay, go back.
Please get tested because it's not a game.
Tell us about the article.
So yeah, he said that. There was a few things he said, but that one was the funniest one. He was like, "You just got to be disease free." He was talking about a woman you date a woman you hook up with just has to be fine. She can be okay in the face, but she just got to have a nice body, and she, has to be not annoying. Whereas the woman you're dating has to be fine from head to toe, smart, and she has to be sane. I think that was the aspect I was missing. Oh, wow. Like in that 28 to like 32 phase, I was not sane. Real talk. I was like, I need to find a husband. Where is he? I'm going to lose my mind. I was not sane. Not like saying like I was cutting people's cars or nothing like that. But.
Yeah, I mean, you have to deal with your mental, emotional,
definitely, all
that type of stuff before you like go offering that to somebody. Definitely. And I think that the ultimate thing is like we want to love. We're wired to love. We don't. I mean, it may be about procreation. It might be about companionship, but ultimately, it feels good.
It does.
It feels good to like give love to somebody else and to really focus. And I think I'm at a point too where I like have certain goals, and I know that I can't achieve it if my energy is spread too thin. So I just want to just focus and get it together and like get disciplined and really like link up with somebody who's for me and about me, and I can be for them and about them, and just like have that outlet, because it's something that's innate inside of us that just wants to love, and you have to like have that. Why not? It feels like
I agree. And I do think there are some people who just want to be alone. And that's not to, believe me, this is just because both of us are in spaces where we want to be married. That is not to say dating is only for people who want to get married. You can date for any reason you want to. I think the key is to be clear with yourself about what you want and to be clear with the other person. Because it's not cool to be out here talking about I want to be a husband, but yet all you want to do is smash. That's not cool.
That's one thing I can say about myself. I always went into my relationship straight with people. Like I was like, look, I'm not that. Like this isn't that's not what I'm on. So that they could make a choice. Like you want to participate or not. And I think that that's important. Like wherever you're at in your dating life, you just have to expose that and not be afraid of that person like abandoning you or you. I mean, it's all going to work out, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you're ready, and there'll be other people that are ready that you get a chance to meet.
Exactly. When you're true to what you want, your real goals, then you'll attract those people who want it too. I'll tell you about the guy. I don't know if I told y'all this. I'll tell you about the guy I met when I was out in the desert, out in Moreno Valley. For Memorial Day. I was out in Moreno Valley visiting one of my girlfriends, and I went for a walk. I took her dog for a walk, and while I'm walking, some guy, pulls up and wants to holler. And I'm okay, you're cute. Yeah, I stop and I talk to him. So, during our initial conversation, one of the things I asked him was, where he is spiritually. And he got like completely flustered. He was like, why are we talking about that? I just met you. And I'm like, well, that's something, I mean, if we're getting to know each other, that's something I'd want to know about you, where you are spiritually. And I had to break it down to him, like, listen, he was cute too. He was cute, he had a flat car. But listen, listen, I know what I want. I am not out here dating just to be somebody's arm piece. I'm not out here dating just to have fun. I'm out here dating because I want a man that I will link my life to. And baby, your spirituality is incredibly important to me. So why waste our time trying to pretend that it doesn't matter, that I'm, just want to have fun, just go with the flow, and I'm not. And I'm happier, and I'm sure he's happier. He doesn't have to deal with my insanity when I find out that he's just a fun boy trying to make me a fun girl.
I wish there was like a label on people's foreheads, like I'm looking for fun versus I'm not, and everybody could just easily find each other. Because I think it's like people get fearful when it's time to really communicate and really tell the truth, because you just don't want to lose what you've invested time in, or the sex is good, or you just you want to keep up the story to your friends that you've met somebody or whatever. That happens too, don't it?
Big time.
But it's like, you gotta just like be real with yourself and like just let it all unfold It's all good. Whatever space you're in is perfect. And from there, we're just gonna all grow and learn. And where can people find us?
Oh, so the channel on YouTube is called Pulp Report, P-U-L-P, like Pulp Fiction, but Pulp Report.
I love that movie.
I do too.
Pulp.
I can't.
I would prefer low pulp.
And orange juice?
Yeah.
Do you not like orange juice?
I didn't know that.
It's incredibly random.
Interesting.
It's just weird to me. I don't like orange juice. Like if I have a mimosa when I go out, I don't get mimosa. I usually get a poinsettia, which is cranberry juice and champagne.
Cheers to that.
Just saying. Okay, so that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for joining. And listen, we want to hear your comments. So comment, please, please, please. Let us know what you think. Tell us your story. We'd love to hear it. Definitely definitely subscribe so you can get notifications of our next shows. And tune into our next episode. The next episode, we're talking about men with money. Does it matter? Should it matter? What's money? How much money do you need? Can you afford to date? Don't miss it. It'll be awesome. Until next time.
Bye.
This is awkward.